about New Year vibes. Is it really a new year, or we're having a continuation? Your money in 2024 and making it count. You are not yet conscious of how much you are receiving. Hello and compliments of the new season. Hi, compliments of the new season. Happy 2024 to you. Say hi as you're joining me for today's live. It's good to have you here. It's so good to have you here. I am so looking forward to having our first conversation of the year with you. So yes, do say hi and Happy New Year. Hi, Faith. Dr. Faith. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. I hope that you've had a beautiful ending of 2023, all of you, and I hope that as you begin 2024 you have been more compassionate on yourself. You have been slowly and tenderly moving into the year and not feeling any form of pressure to be doing anything that doesn't feel right for you. I do hope you've been honoring more of what you're moving through, whether you are reflecting, whether you are setting intentions or setting goals, or just not yet ready. I hope you've been honoring yourself. As you know, or you may know, or you may not know, if you've been with me all along and you are joining me today, and you're still part of my journey, you know what? I want to say thank you so much. It's been real. I love that you and I have gotten to know each other over the years, one way or the other, virtually. And if it's the first time you are seeing me or you're coming across this page, I am Nonofang Legau. I am a money medicine woman. I believe that financial freedom can be attained at every income level, and that's exactly what I help my clients achieve, right? As long as you're true to yourself, you will achieve financial freedom. It's not a one-day thing. It's not a big moment to wait for. It's actually something you get to create with every income level, wherever you are at the level that you're at, right? So yeah, I'm happy to be here. I am honored. I am so blessed to be in 2024 with you. Not many of us made it, so it is, I'd just like to take this moment and say thank you, and thank you to God, thank you to the Holy Spirit, and I celebrate your presence as well. Just your presence, the fact that you are here, I deeply celebrate it, and I hope that whatever desires, whatever wishes that you have or that you've had over time, they get to be honored in this season that we're in. I'm one person who doesn't necessarily get too excited about about New Year vibes. I don't know, at some point in time in my life it just felt like, is it really a new year, or we're having a continuation, right? I began to see it as a continuation of my life cycle. So every year I'm like, oh, this is a new life cycle, or it's part of my life cycle, a phase of my life cycle. My life isn't continuation. And therefore I treat it as that. The decisions that I've made will be highlighted in this cycle. The decisions that I make today will be highlighted in the next cycle. And of course, every cycle has its own life lessons. So that led to me being a little more on the quiet and slow side. Cause if I'm being honest, I used to get a lot of anxiety over the year being new. But I have come to realize that no, the more I'm gentle on myself and the more I listen into how I feel, the more I just get to be okay with not being too excited, but being grateful. Yes. Greetings to me. So happy you're here and exploring. Happy to be here to explore my money metaphor 2024. Yes. your 2024 money. Let's make it count. All right, so yes, let's make it count. So I have been thinking about this. I know that for most of us it has become very normal. It has become part of the collective culture that new year means new beginnings, new things, and also a lot of reflections. And most of the time we're focusing on like, I want to have new financial goals this year. This is the year I'm going to make more money. This is the year I'm hitting my goals. And if you are not yet there, or if you are not in that vibe, it's okay. I do, however, would like to encourage you to introspect why maybe you are not so keen on setting maybe your financial goals or financial intentions. Are you purposefully doing it, or is it is it possible that there's a discomfort around doing that, or there is a form of frustration or pain around actually sitting down and saying, these are my financial goals, or these are my financial intentions, right? So either way, whether you have already done that, or you are going to be doing that in the next coming weeks, or you completely feel like, I'm not yet ready, it's okay, right? It's okay. Hopefully today's conversation on your money in 2024 and making it count, hopefully it will help you expand, and it will help you reflect more on how you should be actually or some of the things you can take into consideration as you are planning for your money and looking forward to making your financial goals. I should say it's not just about the numbers. It's not about the money. There's a bigger story to this. And I've realized that although money goals are important, financial goals are important, the numbers are nice and exciting to hit, it's always so beautiful as well to consider your feelings, or who you would literally like to be within your finances, or the experiences you'd like to have with your finances, like genuinely. Like, for example, you can decide that, you know what, this year I'm going to spend it. I'm going to be spending without feeling guilty. It's not so much about reaching a certain number, but I know that if you're intentional about not spending your money from a guilty place, this puts you in a different frequency in your giving, right? It makes you more of someone who's grateful to give, or who's grateful to release money, right? Without any fear, without any guilt. And also it will cultivate a form of trust around what it means for you when you are giving away money or when you are spending money, trusting that it will return to you. So there is so much that can come from just having that one tiny shift, one tiny intention that is not so much based on the numbers. And if you need help with this, of course you can holler at me. You can holler at me. We can have a conversation about it. If you want to book a session around this is the perfect time to do it, right? I'll talk more about what I'll be offering you this year, or what you can look forward to in the first quarter of the year especially. But right now I want to get into making it count, your money in 2024. So, right, as I've already mentioned, of course, I know that it has been normalized to be setting intentions. Now, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk to you from the perspective of someone who says, I make my financial goals every year. I'm able to hit my financial goals. I'm able to achieve my financial intentions. However, Nonofang, I'm in a space where I feel like money does not match my efforts. Money does not match my lifestyle. Money does not match even the goals that I keep reaching. My experiences of money are not yet matching. It's like there is a discrepancy between what I make and how I actually experience money, or how much I make and the financial choices I make, right? Sometimes it feels like, although I make money, I'm yet to feel liberated in the financial choices that I make. I still feel limited. Sometimes I feel like I make money, but my progress, my financial progress is not yet visible, or I still get frustrated over my daily life or generally, right? That is a pain that exists, and I've seen it affect people to a point where they feel like, it must be about the goals, therefore maybe I shouldn't even set any goals, or I shouldn't be too attached, creating that disconnection, because it just feels like, although I'm making the efforts, right, to increase my money or to manage my money or to plan for my money, it just feels like my life is not reflecting that, or my daily activities do not reflect that. So I want to speak into that, and I want to help you begin to create a congruency between your money and your choices at any level, and the life that you're choosing, and the experiences that you're creating with money, right? I want there to be some form of conscious agreement within you to say that I make this money and it is being reflected in my life. So that's what we're going to get into. I have prepared about 4 points that are big, but as I break them down, you are going to notice that, this is probably why I still make my financial goals, but sometimes still feel like I'm not feeling the results. Why do I still feel like it's just the same? I have been putting in the work for the past years. Let's look into that. Okay, first thing first. So the thing is, some of these things that I'll be talking about, these are things I've experienced even in my sessions, that I've noticed with the clients that I've worked with. These are things that I experienced in my own life, and also I've observed in our society, right? So point number 1 on why your money is not yet being reflected in your life or matching the efforts, the beautiful efforts that you're making, is this. You are not yet conscious of how much you make. On a deeper level, right? You are not yet conscious of how much you are receiving, the capacity at which you are receiving it at. You are not yet conscious of even your spending. Interestingly, the other day I was with a friend, and she was talking about how, she's been staying alone, which is something so beautiful. She's been staying alone for the past 2 years. And yeah, we were talking about money, and I remember saying to her, you do realize that the fact that you've been here for 2 years means that you've actually paid this amount of money over these 2 years. And she was like, I never actually thought about it that way, right? I actually never felt like that's even money that I make, right? So I think it was around 70K. I was like, this is money that you actually paid over these years. And she was like, for some reason, I've never actually felt like I'm someone who makes that amount of money or who holds that amount of money in my bank account. So here's the thing. A lot of times what we do when we want the next income level or when we're focusing on our future money goals is like, there is a disconnection that happens without even realizing between us and the money we make now, right? You are not yet conscious of the fact that you are a woman who's able to pay for a flight ticket, for your vacation, or a woman who's able to purchase this for your business, right? So it is because of the disconnection that is created unconsciously whenever we keep focusing on our future financial goals. It's like we don't see, or we don't pause and be like, this is where I'm at, right? This is where I'm at. This is how much I make. This is how much I pay. Sometimes it can be in that moment very difficult to even notice the financial increases that have come into your business, into your life, because the whole time you were focusing on future goals. So something you want to do different this year to make it count is like, you want to have moments where you actually pause. And I'm going to ask that in moments that you pause, right, you get to reflect more on like the numbers as well. How much are you actually paying for? how much are you actually receiving? So this is why a lot of times it's like we are resistant to even budgeting for our money, right? The problem is not that the budget plan is not working, it's that it brings up a lot of the unknown, right? Unconsciously it makes you reflect back to say, I didn't even know I make this much, right? I didn't even know that this is money I hold every month or every year. I always take it up a notch. Be conscious of how much you are making now in a month, but also if you want to blow your mind, be conscious of even how much you make yearly. Some of you are going to realize you've actually made millions in a year and you've just never really allowed yourself to allow it to sink in, right? So be conscious of that, celebrate that, and reflect on what it means for you, right? Once you're conscious of like how much you make and how much you pay, you want to think about, what does this mean about my capacity currently, my financial capacity currently? Is it possible that I'm still making the same financial choices or that I was making when I was the me in three years back, right? Is it possible that the things that I'm now capable of financially have expanded, but I am still working with the version of me that was making money probably 5 years back or 2 years back, right? What are the ways in which I should be shifting my financial choices now that I realize how much I'm making, or how much of my money is leaving my bank account or I'm giving away? You want to be conscious. Be conscious of your money. Be conscious of what is happening with your money. Celebrate yourself. Reflect on what you are now capable of. Reflect on your capacity. Think about the risks that you have been exposed to over time. Is it time to upgrade your protection plan for your money? Is it time to make investments? You want to think about that, right? This is something that I do in my container of money medicine, right? I help people become more conscious of what is happening and then make new choices based on the realization that is reflecting the current time. Your current money is not your past money. Sometimes you will find that there's been an upgrade. Sometimes you'll find that, okay, maybe you've taken things down a notch, right? Either way, you want your financial choices to actually match your current time, right? That's going to make you more conscious of your money. I can tell you, the more you become conscious, the more you will connect more with what is happening with your money and not just focus on your future income goals. And hence you will feel like you are progressing, right? Let me know how this is moving through you. Let me know. Right. Hey guys, it's hot. It's been raining, but now I feel so hot. But yeah, let me know. Are you someone who feels like you are actually conscious of the money you make, or is it possible that you avoid it or you take it for granted? Sometimes it's not so much that you're avoiding it, but it's like, I really take it for granted, like how far I've come or what I'm doing. So make time to pause on that and just celebrate that, right? An idea of how to celebrate it is to like just look at the things that you've managed to do. It's not always the material things. Sometimes even look into the financial choices you've been able to do because of the money you make, and be like, I celebrate that about me. This is who I am, right? This is who I've become. This leads me to my second point on why you currently may be feeling like money does not match your efforts, right? Why it feels like, yeah, you have been reaching your financial goals, but you don't feel like you're progressing. A possible reason why this is the case, reason number 2, it connects to number 1, is that you have not yet released your old identity. You have not yet released your old identity. Here's the thing. Most people have this idea or have been made to believe that what you don't want to do is actually change just because you're making money or you're making more money. And I know there is this fear that happens to a lot of people where they feel like, people change when they make money. I don't want to be someone who changes just because I'm making more money. And here's my perspective. Sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes you should be willing to change with your money. Sometimes you should be willing to update your choices, update what has become relevant for you as your money increases or as your finances change, right? That means that it is possible that as you create new financial goals, you have to be willing to release your old financial identity. When you interact with money on a certain level, your thinking is going to change, whether you like it or not. And change is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a great thing where you realize that, oh, I can afford this, or I can do this, or these are the dreams. This is the aspect of my dream that I can now make a reality. So instead of fearing the change or feeling like I don't want to change, realize that actually you are keeping yourself stagnant and you are holding on to the old aspects of you, right? I'm sure you've heard a lot of times people talk about when you make money, you're going to lose friends, or sometimes people behavior change towards you. And we often look at it from a victim place. Yes, I understand it's heartbreaking, but I do want you to know that sometimes it's part of the process. If you can allow yourself to understand that your old identity may have to change in order for you to be able to hold certain financial goals and to be able to see them through, then you will have more compassion for yourself, right? Something interesting that I'd like you for you to know today and register this well. Every one of us, right? Each and every one of us has what you may call the guardian of change, right? So the guardian of change is the aspect of you that from the moment you were a child and you experienced an event that felt like it changed your life or had an impact in your life, your guardian of change was born, right? Sometimes it's not so much of a bad or traumatic experience. It can be you change schools, right? As a child, if you change schools, it can feel like, oh my God, right? Who is going to be my friend now? Am I going to be able to fit in? So often our guardian of change, inner guardian of change, is born in that moment. And what happens is that when now we are adults and we are creating financial goals, new financial goals, or we are wanting to level up with our money or create certain financial related lifestyles, the guardian of change may show up and be like, who are we going to be? How are we going to be impacted by this change? Maybe we are better off, right? So this is why a lot of times it can feel like we are making these financial plans or financial intentions or financial goals, and then it feels like by March in the year or early part of the year, we're already collapsing that. It's because there is where we didn't interact with our guardian of change and help her or him understand that actually change is not always a bad thing, right? So there is work to be done around, and yeah, sometimes you may need support in allowing yourself to actually transition and release your old identity. But the thing I want you to understand is that if you are not aware of this, your guardian of change may sometimes keep what we always say, sabotaging your financial plans, sabotaging your financial goals, and therefore leading to you not feeling like you actually make money, right? Leading to you not feeling like your life is actually changing as you're making new financial goals, hence collapsing you, right? The issue here could be that you have just not interacted with your guardian of change and allowed him or her to release the old financial identity of the aspect of you that, could not afford certain things. I've seen people behave the same way they behaved when they were making half of the money they make. This is so normal. And I know there's this thing of like, no, you gotta live below your means. That applies in some parts of our lives or in some seasons. That is not a theme that should exist in your life, because sometimes for some people it will actually create limitation, and it will actually just lead to you holding on to your old identity and not growing with your money, right? Hence not even feeling like you actually make that money. So you want to look into that. Oh my God, so hot. How are you feeling? It is so hot, and my aircon remote batteries are dead, frustratingly. So I can't even do anything about this heat. Okay, yes, Timelo says, I have been reflecting on the annual figure, but there's still so much fear on setting a financial goal intention for the year, right? The fear is, what if I make less in the next cycle? This is a valid fear. So what you want to do is actually work and partner with where your mind is at, right? If the setting a financial year goal feels big, for now you can work with quarterly. Okay, how much do I want to make in this quarter or in the first 6 months of the year? And remember, we are not just setting the financial goals based on the numbers. Sometimes it can be, what are the things that I want to shift, right? How will I know I am winning with my finances in the first 3 months or in the first 6 months? How will I know I'm actually winning? What will I notice, right? And look into that. If I'm able to invest in this, or if I'm able to pay for this, or if I'm able to save this amount of money, that's also a way of hitting your financial goal. It's not so much always about, yeah, I want to make this much up by end of year. So start where it feels a little more safer, a little more warm. So quarterly helps, and by annually also helps, semi-annually helps, before we can reach on the year, right? Your fear is welcome and it is valid, and instead of trying to fight it, let's work with it. So what if I make less in the next cycle? Good question. What if I make less? What does making less mean actually? That's what I'd say. What does making less mean to me? How do I even get to calculate that I have made less? Is it just about numbers for me? Or if I've done 1, 2, 3, then I haven't actually made less. I've just maybe changed the way in which I'm circulating my money. So there's more to that. And also, what does it mean for you, right? What feelings come up when you feel like you have made less? I think it's important to explore on the less part. What is less? A beautiful approach to your money is always to not judge, right? To not judge and to work with the experience as it happens without judgment. You could be making less in the next cycle and actually making triple in the other cycle. The idea that we're going to make money consistently in every cycle, every month, every week, and it's always going to be stacking up is actually not true. It's not true. It's like if we were to say you are going to always be eating food increasingly and there are no breaks and there are no pauses. Sometimes we just need the pause. Sometimes we need the reset for a greater comeback. Sometimes we just need so explore less and what less means to you, right? I'm glad this is helpful. Okay, so I want to know if this is something you're relating to, as we are working with what is probably creating that disconnect where you feel like money is not matching your efforts, right? Where you're probably frustrated by that. You make financial goals, but something is not matching. Like, let's work with that. Okay, so the third point, I thought about this. I've seen it with my life. I've seen it in my business. This is going to be so good for you, entrepreneur. I've seen it in my business. I've seen it with my fellow business women. Here's the thing. Something we do as entrepreneurs is we like to treat our money as a surprise result, right? I learned this from my mentor and I was like, oh my God, this is what I do all the time. You treat your money, your income goals. So right now you can be here saying, oh, I'm going to set my financial goal to this amount, right? And then next thing you know, when that financial goal hits, you treat it as like, I don't know what happened. This is shocking. I don't even know what I did to deserve this. As if it's a surprise, as if you yourself have not actually created certain steps, you have not made certain choices that are actually in support of you having that result. So please, whatever money you make, stop treating it as if it's a surprise thing, as if it's a shock that you're making that money, right? Because something that happens that we do when we do that is we then hold ourselves less accountable for how we even utilize that money. Because it's like, oh, this is just a nice surprise. I didn't even know I have money, right? So it makes us treat our money like it's a coincidence, which again disconnects us from the reality of that we are making this money. It can sometimes interfere with your ability to prioritize, right? Or even plan for your money, right? Because you have been leaving it to chance, even the results. So here's something that I want you to remember. As you make your financial goals, promise yourself this. When they happen, you should know you did that. God did it, but you also did that. That's how you're going to make it count. Stop treating it as a surprise, as a coincidence. And also, even as you work towards it, understand that it won't be because of a result, of a coincidence or a surprise. You right now are your own financial system, right? You and your business, you actually are part of your financial system, right? So which means that the choices you make, the actions that you take, right? Even the choices you avoid, all that is influencing your financial system, and therefore it's going to create results. Who you show up as, right? Whether you are selling, whether you are not, whatever, it's not a surprise. Sometimes the financial result or the income goal being hit today may be a result of what you may have done or how you may have steered your life even 3 years back. Sometimes it's last month, sometimes it's last year, sometimes it's 5 years back, sometimes it can be 10 years back, right? The more you understand this, the sooner you are going to close that gap between you and your money and the efforts you make, okay? The reason why you still feel like there's a difference or there's a gap is because every time you gain money or you receive a lump sum of money or you receive a payment, you're like, oh, wonderful. Oh my God, I didn't know this. I wasn't expecting this. Of course, I get the humility, right? I get the humility. I have done that myself and I still do. However, it's important to work with, how did I get to create this money, right? One thing I will tell you about me is like over time, what I realized with my money increasing, one thing I realized that actually you did, Nonofang, is I became more confident with my craft, right? I became more confident with how I show up in my sessions, in my coaching sessions. And because of that, it was like even my clients had this confidence to pay me. And therefore, that had an effect on me being able to move from this price to the next price and increase my money. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. So please work with that, right? Yeah. I definitely feel this one. I feel surprised by money I make and therefore hadn't pre-planned for it. I get that. It can feel like that money is a bonus, right? The thing is, with 8 to 5, it is so easy to know you worked for your money. Like, you put in the hours, you put in the qualification, you listened more, you put in the overtime. But when it comes to our businesses, we tend to just feel like, oh, I didn't see myself do that. Oh, is that why I got paid? Hell no, right? Hell no. Yes, especially the lump sums. It always feels like, did I just win a lotto? No, you won your results. You won your hard work. You won your earnings. It was all you. Okay? It was you. God did, and you did too. You're part of the equation, right? Okay, last point, babes. Last point. And then I'll see you in the next live session because I want you to reflect. I don't want to overwhelm you. The last thing that it's big and that I know is going to help you begin to match your money with your efforts is this. Please take your time to review your wealth portfolio. I'll break it down. Review your wealth portfolio. Here's something that people do. We make our money and then we hear about, oh, you should totally make this investment or buy this insurance product or buy shares in this, buy these stocks. Then what we do is, because at that point you're having an agent or an advisor telling you what to do, you purchase that investment, you purchase that risk management product, and you are like, okay, great, I've done the job. Sometimes you even purchase the property, right? Hardly do we then connect and realize that actually all these financial choices that I make and all these financial actions that I've made have created a portfolio, which means each and every one of them has a return or has to make a return, right? This will apply even in your business. The strategy that you're using now, already there should be an expected return, right? The clients that you have. So what we normally do is we treat our financial choices with so much the English is running away. But the point is, we don't see it as a continuous journey of us creating the vision. We also treat each and every one of our financial choices, of the whatever financial project or investments we make, very individualistic, right? And therefore, because we do that, we never sit down and say, 5 years back I made this investment. I'd like to see whether I've actually managed to get the payback of the money I invested, or what has been the return so far, or what has been the interest. I have found cases whereby a client will tell me, oh, yeah, there is this insurance policy that I've been paying for. It's a good investment policy that I was told about, and then I got to purchase it. And then by the time we're having this conversation in our sessions, it's something she long interacted with 6 years back. And I'm like, how do you know that is still relevant with your money now? Right? How do you know how that has impacted your money now? Or if it has made any return on your money now? This applies to any form of purchase. Even a car. You know how sometimes we will look at the car mileage and know how much we have, how long we have driven our cars ever since we bought them, right? Yes. Think of your investments, think of your projects, your financial projects as like, think of them as like worthy of being checked on the mileage. And that mileage would be the rate of return. That mileage would be, if it's still relevant right now. sometimes you're going to realize that actually this is not relevant to my current financial goals. We are setting financial goals every year, but do we ever sometimes check if there is congruency between our financial choices now or our past financial choices and those financial goals? Sometimes there is a mismatch, and the mismatch is because we don't sit down and review our portfolios. We don't sit down and say, okay, these are my assets. I know I long bought a plot there, but what have I gained from this plot, from buying this plot? Oh, I know I bought a house there and I've been charging rent. Do I need to increase my rent? You will be shocked. Not everyone increases their rent every year. Not everyone asks for increases their pricings in their business every year. Not everyone checks to see if the financial stocks are currently matching the value that they bought them for. Some of them have long devalued and you are still holding on to that. This is a huge topic, but I do want to say that it's important to review, and you are reviewing your portfolio in order to check relevance, in order to measure the rate of return, in order for you to even reflect on the payback. Is it been paying back? Even that Motelo group that you are part of, sometimes that Motelo may be benefiting you. Sometimes you are not utilizing it to the maximum. Sometimes genuinely, it's actually not as beneficial as you think it is, right? So that's the thing. When we connect with our money and we actually give ourselves time to review, we can actually get to make different choices that support our financial goal standing. Doing this on its own can help you not to collapse your financial goals early, because it's like, no, actually, my financial choices are so relevant to my financial goals, and my financial goals are so relevant to my financial vision that is being supported by my wealth portfolio. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. If right now you are staying in the city and you've built a mansion in the village, you have to be able to give me an understanding of like why that was your choice. Oh, I plan to retire early, I'm going to stay there. Because sometimes you'll find that, oh, you did that and it was more of something you didn't think about, but where am I going to stay? Or where do I genuinely desire to stay after I retire, or once this business of mine moves to this level, right? So we hardly think about these things, but they catch up. One thing I will tell you is that a lot of our financial choices from the past, 80% of them, you'll find that they were emotionally based. They were supported more by our emotions. Our financial decisions can sometimes be emotionally based. And that's not always a bad thing, right? However, if we don't review our finances, if we don't review our portfolios, you may just find that you're still working with the most irrelevant aspects of your finances. So this even ties to that financial identity, releasing the old financial identity aspect of our conversation, right? So that's the fourth point I wanted you to consider. Take time, review your financial portfolio. If you've made investments, go and sit down with your investment advisor and talk about, okay, what has happened over time with those shares? What has happened over time with that policy I got? Whatever. Take time to do that so that your money can match your financial choices and you yourself can begin to truly maximize, the benefits of the financial goals that you have achieved, right? And the benefits of your everyday financial choices. You will find that you have long been privileged, or you have long achieved certain things, but you are just not yet enjoying them, or being conscious of how much, they have impacted your life, simply because you were not reviewing. Okay, so yes, let me not overwhelm you. I hope that all these 4 points, you being conscious of your money, you not treating your money as a surprise, releasing your old financial identity, and reviewing your wealth portfolio, I hope that one way or the other, even if it's just one of them, right? You can be able to apply it to your new financial setting, intentions, your new financial goal settings. And I hope that will close the gap between your money right now, the efforts you've made over the past years, and the experiences that you're having now and the choices that you're making now, right? Okay, so just to let you know, I plan to be doing more workshops for you this year, 2024. I almost said this coming year. This year. So our first workshop, I have not yet decided what this workshop is about, but I know I want you to get excited with me, because I am planning a workshop for us end of February. We're going to have this workshop. We're going to be having more workshop this year, because I want to be able to help you as much as I can, serve you as much as I can. I want you and I to interact. What I'm also going to be doing right this year is that with my sessions, our live streams, our live sessions, what is going to happen is now you are going to be able to call me in the last 15 minutes, or to join in my live stream in the last 15 minutes to ask a question, or to even say how you feel, about the topic being discussed. I want you and I to interact more. I want you to know that, it is safe for you and I to be having the conversations that we're going to be having, a lot of expansive conversations around money medicine. What I love about money medicine is it is not limited to just numbers. I don't just work with numbers when I work with you. I work with your psychology around money. I work with your emotions. I work with your beliefs, your spirituality, your relationship with God. All these are valid when it comes to your money. And money medicine, this space, creates a platform for you and I to interact on that level and have many conversations from many aspects of our lives around our money and how that impacts that. So yes, I'm looking forward to you being able to call in our lives and join me and talk to me. And if you need coaching as well, that could be an opportunity, or a question. I think that they're going to be great. You will also like to know that my one-on-one sessions with you are going to be available in February, right? I'm currently just editing a few things, and then I will let you know when you can now book. But in February, you will be able to book 16 weeks of money medicine, where we get to work on your money and help you create financial freedom at every income level, right? Yes, Dr. Faith, thank you so much. I am glad that this felt good for you and that you resonated. I will see you soon. I will be making announcements when I go live so that you can join me and we can get to use the space to interact and talk about our money and shift and just make 2024 count. For real. Your money in 2024 has to count. Your decisions, your financial decisions, your financial choice, make it count. Do let me know what you resonated with. You can inbox me anytime. You can leave a comment. I will get back to you. I love it when you tell me what has been your highlight or what has been your aha moment. Thank you so much for joining me. And once again, happy New Year. Okay, see you soon. Thank you, Timmy. All right. Bye.